Last week, we got news that Hurricane Ana was expected to pass over the Hawaiian Islands over the weekend. I wasn't particularly worried about this storm, as I can usually trust my instincts to guide me whether a storm is something I should prepare for, or if all will be fine and I can let it go. For this one, I hadn't given it a second thought. On Saturday night, however, the winds were starting to pick up. My car was covered, I had everything I needed, and wasn't much concerned about a thing. My neighbors, on the other hand, had been preparing with moving outdoor furniture, and I noticed at the grocery store they were all out of drinking water and toilet paper. The things that matter. There wasn't much activity going on outside, aside from some wind, a light sprinkling of rain, and heavy cloud cover. Very unusual for Maui's ever-gorgeous weather. I went to bed early that night. I fell into a deep sleep. Sometime in the middle of the night, I suddenly awoke, and my eyes opened wide. I was fully aware of where I was in an instant, and felt that there was something I should be paying attention to. I sat up and looked around, expecting something. In my head, I heard myself counting down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom! The whole house shook. The bed shook. The sound was so loud and so close overhead, it scared me out of my wits for a few seconds. When I came back to, I sat up taller and listened more intently to see what was happening. Nothing. Nothing more. The rain was softly coming down, and then the shrill of car alarms started sounding off even miles away from the impact of the boom. The dogs in the neighborhood were howling and yapping as well. I carefully slipped out of bed and went out on the balcony to see if there was anything strange or different going on. Nothing. All was normal and the same in the neighborhood. The rain was rather light, more so than I expected. I'm sure I wasn't the only person wide awake now, wondering what just happened. In all the places I've lived, never have I heard a thunder boom like that. Never. I now had a whole new definition of booms from the sky. I sat down in the lounge chair and looked out to the rain for a while. It must have been 3 a.m. I peacefully acknowledged that yes, I am in the middle of the Pacific now, surrounded by little, if nothing else, but miles and miles of ocean. Storms will pass through here. Something caught my eye. Glancing to the left, on the wall about 10 feet away, I noticed something small, strange, and dark, clinging. Far enough away that I couldn't tell what it was, but close enough to realize that it was something that wasn't normally there. It had round, raised curvature and was attached firmly to the stucco wall. A large snail, perhaps? No, it wasn't glistening in the lights from the yard. Maybe a bird? It had the shape and size of a hummingbird, perhaps, but they don't cling to walls. I moved in a little closer to have a better look, and as I did so, it detached itself and flew away into the light rain. The way it fluttered when it flew was undeniable. It was a bat. I'd never seen one quite so up close like that before. Certainly not anywhere on Maui since I'd moved here 6 months ago. In fact, I don't believe I'd ever seen one so close to my home environment ever in my life. A little strange, but not very concerning because it was so small. The thought left my mind, and I went to bed. In the morning, as I was waking, I was conscious that I was fully in an intense dream. In the dream, I was told I needed to go down a very narrow stone stairwell. It was dark, moldy, and made of ancient stone. The bigger problem was it was so narrow, I would have to shimmy myself sideways in order to squeeze to get through and down. The walls were high and tall, and the space enclosed like a cavern of a medieval castle. The narrow stairwell led to who knows where. A dungeon? Torture chamber? The place one would never, ever come out of? It was a significant dream, I could tell. One of those you know means something for you. There were people around me, followers it seemed, watching to see how I would do. If I did it, I was to get to the bottom. Little did they know this was my deepest, most horrific fear, as I have a claustrophobia that can really grip me at times. So this was it, the fear of all fears. And I had no idea if I could do it. Visions were conjuring up of being trapped and then crushed by stone or a trampling of more people on top of me. Ah! They were all waiting for me to make the decision and go. Sort of like jumping off a cliff without any wings. When are you going to jump? There's no way I can do that, I heard myself think. And really, there was no way. No way I was going to do that. I froze. I came into more waking consciousness at this point. Does the dream end here? What am I going to do? How does it end? I decided that if I wanted to, I could affect the dream's outcome and actually overcome this fear. I also decided to see if I asked for help, if anyone would be available to me. Sure enough, 2 figures appeared before me. Burt Lancaster and James Earl Jones. What, you say? Well, you see, earlier that day, I had watched the movie Field of Dreams. In it, Burt Lancaster plays the role of Archie Moonlight Chambers, a young rookie baseball player that had given up his dreams of playing pro baseball in favor of serving his community as the good doctor. James Earl Jones plays the character of Terrence Mann, an author from the late 60s who wrote several books inspiring a generation into radical new thought and rebellion. They were both the holy men of the movie. So now, in my dream, they blend as one. There is light around that holy man, and somehow I know that he is me. I'm assured that if I take the first step and maintain balance all the way, I will be safe. I wake up. Phew. Why did I wake seconds before that boom? Why the sudden bat showing up? Why the dream? During the day, I look up the symbolism of bats. I know that when animals show up, it's another way of a totem communicating something to you. And I quote here now from Ina Wolcott from the website shamanicjourney.com. Ina says, "A bat flying into your life signifies that transformation of the ego self is about to occur, the end of a way of life and the start of another. This transition can be very frightening for many, even just to think about it, but you will not grow spiritually until you let go these old parts of you that are not needed. Facing the darkness before you will help you find the light in rebirth. The bat gives you the wisdom required to make the appropriate changes for the birthing of your new identity. Shaman initiates go through a ritual death, sometimes with the aid of a teacher, plants, or fasting. Here they confront their fears and are reborn without their old identities. Bats help us to release fear and patterns which no longer fits within our pattern of growth." Once again, that's a quote from Ina Wolcott in shamanicjourney.com. It all fit together. The boom, the bat, the dream. A tremendous peace came over me, one that said, all fears can be gone. Going into a dungeon is a symbol of subconscious fears all of us are holding, left over from previous lifetimes or ancestral DNA, as one who did not submit to the authority rule of the day. Sound familiar to you? Calling on higher support was crucial in summoning the courage to move past the deepest of fears. What's fascinating is observing the symbolism that appears in our lives as a way to understand and integrate information the universe wants to convey to us. And these symbols are everywhere, all the time. This is our illusion, our field of dreams. But are we paying attention? These events were letting me know what a powerfully transformative time it is for me now. It is the last of fears. There are no other. None can become present and freeze me in a tight grip. The last of the ego is leaving. Nothing left but God and light and love now. I am noticing this kind of release of ancient entrapments with quite a number of my clients now as well. It's as though a release and lightening are happening on a global scale. Is it for you? My encouragement is to be consciously aware of what is coming your way. Do you observe your dreams? Are there symbols in your life that are unusual to you? Do you have one to call on to sort these elements out for you and with you? If you might like a little assistance with this, you can book an energy scan with me, or for longer-term work to support you, try the discovery session as an alternative. Both of these can be found on my website under sessions at spiritsourceconnect.com. Whatever is going on for you matters. Your life is your mirror, the images and illusions you have made. And when you can see what you have made, you can make conscious choices to change anything into what you want the outcome to be. It is very much possible. Whatever you are inspired to overcome, to create, and to begin anew. What is your field of dreams? Many blessings. Suzanne.